Are you a Solavert? My guides gave me this word recently. It's also the name of a prescription medicine that slows down rapid heartbeat. Interesting. Anyway, amongst the emotional tidal waves from potent and frequent solar flares, and my own personal need to go even more deeply inward, this word makes sense on a few new levels. It's a funny thing about words, though. More and more, they don't seem to be enough. They're not enough to translate the amount of change that's happening, and they are losing their ability to explain what we feel and can sense in light of these new shifts. This is a natural transition, you see, occurring right now because it is written into our physical body ascension to become more telepathic in nature. The only way we can graduate to this level of communication is to become more attuned to our emotional intelligence. Hold on to your hat while I explain this just a bit further. As many of us shift from the cranial brain, the mental intellectual intelligence, as our primary organizing mechanism for our database of knowledge, to the gut brain, and the more advanced solar plexus system of communicating emotionally, we get to integrate the lower corporeal frequencies resonating at the survival level of consciousness into the higher frequencies of the solar plexus and the heart. That's why the solar plexus is also called the great transducer. It's a powerful bridge and pathway uniting the lower chakra centers with the higher, also uniting mind, body, spirit. And it allows us to communicate on an emotional harmonic level where the mind is no longer existing in conflict or contrast with our feeling states. This transition to telepathic communication involves a dissolution of our own hidden agendas. In other words, what that means is there is no dishonesty with oneself. Everything is laid out, laid bare. Feelings are open and true to what is, and to what is in and of the moment, what is present, what is now, because that's all there is anyway. And then they can move freely through and transmute back to open-heartedness. Telepathic communication cannot be broadcast clearly, without distortion, until we graduate to this. But this word, Solavert, it really stands out for me. So think of the word extrovert, someone who is outgoing, outspoken, maybe a bit of an exhibitionist. Solavert implies one who is driven to inhabit their solar nature. And we are all solar as human beings. We're essentially powered by the sun. But to be a Solavert is to also seek solace. And the key base of that word, sola, it's right in there, the solace, to be independent, to be in one's own inherent solar template, an emanation of being that generates an output of energy from the solar plexus, our own inner sun, the energy center of our evolved true brain that speaks through our emotional system. And so, back to our currently flourishing solar nature. Yes, there are lots of solar flares, and they are taking place with an alarming frequency if you look at what's happening through a lens of fear. Through a lens of love, however, you see a developing synthesis taking hold. Through fear, this process will seem painful, harmful. Through a lens of love, this process is a necessary station of awareness and growth that we must pass through. This is physical innovation of our current human suit into the next mutation, ushering us into our crystalline matrix light body. Call me crazy, but lately I've been feeling every one of these solar flares and jolts, inspiring me to come more alive, to be more alive, to be more awake to my light, my gifts, my genius, and my solar nature. inviting me into a greater level of emotional maturity. I don't feel as if I'm being ripped apart, but rather that this is a temporary stage, one of many, where I'm coming together and coming apart in this beautiful choreography of chaos. But every time I get to come together anew, it's in a new way. At least it's new to me in this current body. I feel encouraged and lovingly invited to let my inner world and the outer environment be instrumental in shaping my concept of what reality is. I feel supported in allowing the energy to lead me, staying curious and with the open mind of a child instead of being led by the rigid, controlling needs of a scared or world-weary adult. I humbly encourage you to consider the same approach, and you'll find more wonder and play at the heart of this change, potently mutating us all from our deepest depths of cellular structure and reaching out like tendrils from within to bless and grace all life without.